All right, so welcome everybody to the first ever 3D printing podcast. We're not really sure what the name is yet, but we'll figure it out eventually. So I'm Jack from 3D Now. I'm here with two of our awesome members of our Discord members. And we just wanted to start some sort of live podcast using the new Discord stage feature where we can talk about anything and people in the community can raise their hand and ask questions live. So I'm recording this, maybe I'll post it on YouTube or not. But we just wanted to talk about 3D printing topics. Maybe we'll go on some fun tangents or whatever. So yeah, this is the first one. If you wanted to join live next time, there'll be a link. It's just 3dnow.cc/discord. So yeah, so let's get right into it. We have like half an hour. So I'm joined by 3D Maker Kid and Zami. Say hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Cool. Okay. So let's get started with a very interesting topic. So everyone might know of the BL Touch. It's this awesome bed leveling probe or sensor. And Creality came out with their own version, I guess, called the CR Touch. And as we might know, is that the BL Touch is patented, and the CR Touch looks very similar. So we're not really sure if Creality got a license or whatever. So any thoughts on that?
Well, they ripped off the entire name. That's got to have something on it too.
Yeah,
They probably
I think,
copyrighted it.
yeah, it should be. I mean, like, first of all, there's the name, like, straight up. Then there's the actual patent itself, which, it's straight up violating. Is that the right word? I don't know. I'm tired. Okay, yeah, it straight up violates the patent, but it doesn't seem to have any performance benefits. Like, it's not like it's just taking the actual patented feature and improving it. It has no performance benefits. It's more expensive and works with less printers. There's no reason for it to exist, really.
Yes. Yeah. So didn't you say 3D Maker Kid that the regular BL Touch they have that plastic tip like for a reason?
Yeah. The plastic tip is to prevent the more expensive and hard to replace electronics from breaking if you crash it. So the plastic tip breaks instead of the whole thing, or it ripping your X carriage off, which was an issue with the original BL Touch, which had a metal pin.
Yeah. So like I think they said the Creality one, like one of the benefits is that it has this metal tip, which I guess is like going backwards from the original BL Touch, right?
Hey, it's a straight
Yeah,
downgrade.
it is.
And
Interesting.
it costs more, which is ridiculous. And
It costs more?
yeah, it does. It's like, at least for me, because I'm in the UK, it's like £20 more.
Interesting.
It's 50 quid instead of 30 quid.
So it's also like injection molded, I guess. It's kind of fancy. It's black.
So
BL Touches too.
So
Yeah.
it's a bit of touch.
Yeah, you're right.
There's no benefits to doing the way they've done it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I like how it looks,
Hey,
but
BL Touch is clear.
other than that, yeah, is there a light on this one?
You're right. Oh, the
There should be a
lights.
light.
Yeah, I guess so.
If there isn't a light, then how are you supposed to know when it's got an error?
Yeah.
Because
Good question.
when the BL touches an error, is it flashes red or does it go solid? I can't remember which way around it is.
It flashes red, I think.
Yeah. Whereas this, and it's quite a bit easier to see because it's like translucent-ish case for it. Whereas this looks like it has a really small LED to get through.
Yeah, it's just solid black. But it's interesting that they made this because they came out with this like new leveling system for the the CR6 SE, where like
Yeah.
the whole print head like moved a little bit with some sensor. Like that seemed new, and like
It's not new.
it wasn't.
No, the Duet came out with the Smart Effector kit several years back, which used the same system. The only thing they've done is make it cheaper and put it on an i3 instead of a Delta.
Yeah, and it's new on commercial printers too.
Yeah. I meant like integrated into a printer that's being sold like to the masses. But like that seemed pretty cool. I mean, I haven't tested it myself, but
I personally wasn't a fan of it because it's partly because of the way it actually mounted to the hot end. They had to use an entirely customized heatsink for the hot end, and seeing as it's a PTFE lined one and the heat break's too long on it, it makes it impossible to upgrade it.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, like the whole print head like actually moves a little bit, right? Like
Yeah,
it
it's
does.
a strain gauge.
It's not enough to impact print quality. Like the rest of the printer will give bigger issues than the little flex there, but it was still a bit of movement. But yeah, the movement there was insignificant. The issue was the heatsink mounting to it. And the other issue is that with the hot end they use, and obviously because you can't replace it, this is a limiting factor. It had a lot of ooze compared to other hot end options. So, and because of obviously the way the probing works, if filament oozed out and then solidified and you went to probe, you would obviously get inconsistent results.
And the nozzle has to be cold whenever you probe, right? Or else you're going to destroy the surface.
Yeah, or you'll break the bed.
Yeah.
And wouldn't that cause issues with thermal expansion and things?
I don't think it did. It was pretty consistent with the thermal expansion. The issue was that the hot end oozed a lot more than other like all metal or higher grade options, and you can't swap it out, so you're just stuck there really.
Yeah, it would be nice if they did it independent of the hot end, because with that you don't have any offsets for the sensor. You can probe wherever the nozzle can get to, so you don't have to worry about finely tuning your BL touch offsets like I've had to do multiple times.
Yeah, I mean, it's more consistent minus the ooze, right? I think if they had done it how Duet did it, where it was like a generic mount and you could use whatever hot end you see fit, that would have been great option. But the way they did it, they got rid of the main benefiting factor of the smart effector, therefore making it a bit pointless.
Yeah. And honestly, if they would just have a flat build plate on there and 3 leveling screws, it would be just as good.
Yeah, well, 3 leveling screws on an i3 is a bit more difficult to do than like a...
because you have that beam in the middle.
Yeah, so I think 4 points makes sense for that. But then they had ABL, but they still... Oh, no, I'm thinking the wrong printer. No, they still left they rigid mounted the bed for that one, didn't they? Yeah, never mind, ignore me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking of Annette and the Ender 5 Plus, where they put ABL in it, but they still left leveling screws and the springs, which makes no sense.
Yeah.
I don't know why we haven't seen a move to 4-on styles, but you know.
Yeah, so I just want to say, like, we haven't tested the CR Touch, so maybe it's great. This is just our initial thoughts on it from just looking at the website design and stuff. So let's move on to some other quick topics. One of the ones that I thought was interesting, it's kind of quick, but FormLabs is now a multi-billion-dollar company, which is crazy. Like, I remember when it was started with like a few MIT grads, and now I guess they raised a new series of 150 million. Now they're worth over $1 billion, which is crazy.
Isn't that because of the launch of the Fuse 1 that they've got?
Yeah,
their SLS printer. Yep. Yeah.
It's just because I don't see nearly as many FormLabs printers out there as I do things like Stratasys or Creality and all that. But I suppose they are pretty premium products, so they are making a decent amount of profit on them.
Yeah, and to put that into perspective, Prusa is a 236 million euro company.
Yeah.
So they don't even come close, which is crazy. And you see so many more Prusa machines out there.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose they do release everything as open source, so they don't get as much of a benefit as FormLabs would.
Well, a lot of the FormLabs stuff was at least originally open source. I haven't paid any attention to them recently, but
I don't think the newer ones are open source.
Oh no, I doubt Fuse 1's open source.
Yeah, I think there's like only one open source SLS printer out there at the moment.
Yeah, but I think the FormLabs SLA printers, they're not really meant for us like hobby people. They're thousands and thousands of dollars for like engineering firms and stuff. So they're pretty expensive.
Absolutely, yeah, they're definitely not made for it.
It's
just I'm just a bit confused considering how much how many more printers you see out there that are of other brands that FormLabs of all would make it to the billion mark faster.
Yeah. I mean, I've used a FormLabs printer before, and they're awesome because they're like actual true SLA with like lasers. Like most SLAs now are just like the masked stereolithography with like masked LED screens and lights and stuff like that. Or
Yeah.
like, but like FormLabs is actual laser SLA, which like the quality is insane. Like it's not.
Yeah.
We're getting pretty close to being able to do that same thing on the masked LCD printers too. With the 8K screens and stuff, they should be able to do near, if not the same quality as a actual SLA printer.
And much faster at that as well. But at the moment, SLA has the advantage in terms of detail. I think Angus from Makers News did a great video comparing. I know it was DLP, not MSLA. You know those old photons versus SLA, and the difference is noticeable. But obviously, DLP to MSLA, there's a massive difference too. So haven't seen a proper comparison between MSLA and SLA yet.
Yeah, it's crazy. Crazy.
What is Stratasys worth at this point?
That is a good question. How many billions?
I doubt it'll be in the billions.
Wow. Yeah. The revenue, at least for last year, was 668 million. No, that was for 2016. The most recent numbers are 2016.
Okay, yeah, that's
crazy.
Yeah, they'll be in the billions now, won't they? No doubt. Especially, when did they buy MakerBot?
Years ago.
2015, 2014.
Oh, okay. I was thinking maybe if they had bought it after that would have increased it, but no.
No,
I haven't seen many new things from Stratasys recently. Like the latest big one I've seen was the J850.
Well, I haven't either, but I also don't pay any attention to them.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, big
and I just pay attention to the hobby space.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Yeah, so that was pretty interesting. But I would say let's move on quickly to the next topic. So one that I found interesting, which I think 3D Maker Kid will as well. Aerojet Rocketdyne tested or hot fired their new 3D printed rocket engine, and it passed the NASA testing, which is super cool. So it's the RL10 engine, which is like the upper stage of the Atlas. It's like a pretty cool rocket with a lot of history. And I guess they're making a new version called the RL10CX upper stage, and it features a 3D printed, I guess, injector plate, which are like the nozzles that actually like spray the fuel and oxidizer in the combustion chamber. So I guess it has to be metal 3D printed, obviously, but it's most definitely is.
Those were a lot of confusing words I didn't understand.
Sorry. But yeah, so that's pretty cool that we're now 3D printing these injector plates for rocket engines. I know there's a company called Relativity Space that's actually 3D printing like almost the entire rocket. So they have this massive 3D printer on like an arm, and the bed is circular, and the bed actually spins 360 degrees and actually like lays and actually lays down a bead of it's like a big welder that lays on a bead and creates this huge tank. And it's awesome because you can create so much more like complex geometry than just like, I mean, it takes like like a fraction of the time than just like machining this stuff, I guess, right?
It's also way cheaper.
Yeah.
Would that still be considered FDM? Because you have a welding rod.
I guess so.
Wouldn't that kind of be the filaments and the welder's the heater?
I suppose so. I mean, it's pretty insane FDM if it did count as one, but yeah, I guess it is FDM as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, they're kind of using the same technology that we have in our houses. Great.
Although, well, no, because if you think SLS is considered different to DMLS, whereas the only thing that's changed really is the material that they're sintering.
Yeah. Don't they also have a different environment inside of the printer?
Oh yeah, it's like much hotter, but in the same way that the welder is much hotter than the hot end.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to look that up at some time. Yeah,
so I'm looking on the website now. They're calling it Stargate is the printer name. And it looks super cool. It's
got to be copyrighted.
Yeah, that has to be copyrighted.
Well, they're not saying it's like they didn't trademark or anything, just calling it Stargate. I don't know. but definitely
Yeah, whatever.
looks really cool.
Sounds
So
cool.
there's like these little like gifs and animations, but it's cool because you can like add all these cool different like tank features for like the rockets that will be super hard and time consuming with other, I guess, so like
Yeah, I mean,
so I know 3D Maker Kid, you like machining and stuff. So it takes a while to like machine these big plates, right? With those like those like isogrid
Yeah.
patterns and stuff. Like
You've seen the Smarter Everyday video for the ULA factory, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a 2-day operation for one of those ISO grids.
That's
I'm
crazy.
not sure how much it is for the ortho grid because he said that's 3 times faster or something.
That's crazy.
And did you say that they're doing a new upper stage for Atlas?
Yeah, well, yeah. So the RL10 engine that's on the Atlas, I guess Aerojet Rocketdyne, the company, is making a new version that's 3D printed. So it would be cheaper, faster to produce, I guess, and I guess might be more efficient. Maybe I'm not really sure. I guess
So
it's
they gotta
better.
be using that on a new rocket soon because aren't Atlases being retired as soon as Vulcan exists?
Yes. So I think they're actually testing a new version like on the next flight, but not the 3D printed one. I think the 3D printed one was like a grant from NASA. I might be totally wrong, but I think like NASA is testing it with the company just to make sure it all works, just to see if it's possible to 3D print these like these rocket engines for I guess for like future missions and stuff.
Yeah, and it's been proven that it's able to be done. I mean, Rocket Labs has been doing it on their Electron since whenever they started flying it. And pretty much all of the new small satellite launchers are going to be using 3D printed rocket engines. So
hmm Yeah, I
it's,
mean like it's a different class than
yeah,
like the RL10 is like what like 10 times bigger than the Rocket Lab ones.
yeah, it's a
But
lot
yeah,
bigger.
but still, yeah, like it's possible. It's definitely possible. But it's pretty cool that we're moving into like 3D printing rocket engines and these like metals. It's pretty cool. I mean, so
yeah,
we like mostly use plastics, um, but it's pretty cool to see like these super precise like metal printers and stuff.
Holy crap! That thing looks machined.
What did you
How
find?
did they? I found a video of the rocket engine, and it looks like it was machined.
is
That's
it?
impressive.
Is this the one that was done on the DM Polar one, or was it a?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I'm just finding like 3D printing engines just make so much sense. Right? I'm just finding like the internal geometries you can get are just so much more advanced than what they're using at the moment. Like I know Koenigsegg, they DML their engines, which is pretty cool. I'm just yeah, I'll post the picture in 3D text chat, but at the school they printed a mock-up of quite a cool engine design that was done on the, I think it was the Ultimaker 2 Extended Plus. It was one of the Ultimakers at least.
It's pretty cool.
And yeah, you have so much more geometric freedom than with machining.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah,
There goes my job.
yeah, exactly. He wants to be a machinist. Um,
Yeah, and
I mean,
Yeah, there will always be something that needs to be machined.
yeah,
Or I'll just
exactly.
move to 3D printing. I'm fine with
Yeah,
doing that too.
exactly. Yeah, you can just pivot to 3D printing. That's funny. Um, cool. Yeah, so that was a fun topic. So I guess our last thing we can talk about quickly is so the Fillamentum stuff. So 3D Maker Kid, you said you had some of that?
I don't have any here, but I was interested in it. I'm guessing that's going to be something that I'll never be able to afford, but
So,
oh yeah, I saw it. It's like 175 quid for 750 grams on 3D.
I mean, that's better than Peak or Peck.
Yeah, it is better than that, but it's like I think performance-wise, it's not as high up, is it?
This says that it's replacing Peak.
so,
Okay.
so just
So
just a little bit of background. So, Fillamentum launched their, I guess, their high performance engineering filament, and they're calling it Floridor. I don't know,
yeah, sure, we'll go with that.
Floridor. I don't know.
I have no clue.
They say it's PVDF, which is polyvinylidene fluoride. I
That
guess.
scares me.
So
That's a
I've
scary
never
name.
never heard of
Yeah,
that
that's
before,
a scary name.
which is interesting. I don't know. I mean, hey, new materials, it's fun.
That's gonna be stupidly toxic to print.
I don't know. Yeah, but so it looks like it's a crazy, like the performance is like crazy high. Like so they
Yeah,
say it's
Looking at the features, it's temperature resistant to 150 degrees Celsius, resistant to chemicals up to 110 degrees Celsius. It's self-extinguishing. It's got meets the requirements of class V0. High impact resistance. Like those are all the technical ones. Oh, it's recyclable, so that's better than peak and all that.
it's crazy.
Great
So-
electrical installation and very dense. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's still not going to be used in the same kind of applications, but the diameter tolerance on it is plus or minus 1/10 of a millimeter.
Nuts.
Where have you seen that?
nuts.
I'm on the sample one right
On the
now.
on the website.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm on 3D Jake because that's just what I have pinned to my.
So you print it
Yeah, fair.
at like 260, and the bed is like 100 plus.
That's
Yeah.
not too bad compared to peak. To be fair, like peak, I was
250C and 450.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah.
It's only 15 euros for a sample from them, which is still a lot, but
Hey, Fillamentum makes some great filament, so
yeah, I mean,
I would
I've
think
got
it.
some here. I've got a PLA Extra Fill Sky Blue, and it's pretty good. The only complaint I have is it seems to be consistently under extruding, so I've had to change the extrusion factor.
I do that for all of my filament.
Yeah, I mean, every
Yeah.
filament brand is like a little different. So
Yeah, it was just when with the tolerances, it didn't seem to be plus or minus 0.05 from 1.75. It seemed to be from 1.73, I think it was. Yeah, it was just a bit odd. That was all.
hmm
But other than that, yeah, print's great. I've done a bunch of prints. I've only had one failed print with it so far, and that's because I was an idiot and set the extrusion factor to 1.6 instead of 1.06 like I was supposed to.
Yeah, that would do it.
Yeah, nasty print, and it was one of those. Have you seen the new Mark III cards on Cruiser?
Yes, I've seen them. You went on about this last night.
I know, it's so cool. I just can't stop printing them. It's like doing an Airfix but better.
Yeah,
So
I did one for an X-Wing a while back.
so if I look at like the product comparison on the website, it looks like this new stuff has like the highest density of any filament they like offer.
Oh, they offer, yeah. About to say, like,
Yeah.
just get some steel fill if you wanted like really dense filament. But yeah, what they offer, that makes sense.
That's crazy. So it says it's
Cool.
it's stiff and strong and rigid.
Wait, that means that means it's even more expensive than we think. Like, if it's really dense, then you're going to get less per.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many meters is it? It doesn't say.
It says it doesn't say. No, it's 130 meters
Yeah,
or
that's
500 grams.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's quite a bit smaller than what most is.
So
like
what-
PLA is like 1 kilogram for 330, isn't it?
So
It's PVDF, isn't it?
yeah. So converted to US dollars, it's like $165 US. It's 134 euros.
124 pounds.
So that's
Sorry, just
that's
yeah.
very expensive. Very expensive. But
Let me find the peak that's on 3D Jake.
Yeah, it's 1.78 grams per cubic centimeter, and to put that in perspective, PLA is 1.24. I think.
It's like a third of the price of peak though. Peak is £74.50 per 100 grams, whereas PVDF was 25 quid for 100 grams.
Yeah, but peak can withstand 250 degrees Celsius.
Oh
can't it?
yeah, I know. I'm not saying it's going to replace it. I'm just saying
Yeah.
it's comparing the two. That's all.
so
It's like a middle ground between ABS and peak. Kind
yeah.
of.
So I guess we can wrap it up with we have a question actually from the audience. So I'll bring him in and he can ask his question and we can wrap it up from there. So welcome to the stage. Hello.
So, you guys were talking about that it looked to be, you weren't sure about, if it was dangerous to print or not. I downloaded the SDS sheet on it, and it said it's actually safe. That as long as you don't take it above 265, that there won't be any off-gassing or ventilation.
Yeah, that's my issue with it, because it says print from 250 to 270 C.
Yeah.
And
Well, the one that I saw, I was on 3DX or something, and they also have it, and they were printing between 235 and 260.
Really?
I think like the only concern with safety that I have with the filament really is that some poor soul will try to print it on a stock Ender 3 or something and just completely kill their house.
Yeah, well, I can definitely see the danger in it, but for someone who wants to print some of that higher end stuff, that can't afford, it's definitely a great replacement.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Like,
I mean,
all you'd really need is an all-metal hot end, really.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And a good heated bed.
Oh yeah, definitely good heated bed.
But I could never afford peak.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like the Quiddy tech. Oh no, you've got the Dragon hot end, so yeah, you could probably do peak on it if you could afford it.
Exactly.
And if you had the right heated bed for it.
Even 100 grams of peak is like no.
It's like 75 quid for.
I have a peak 20mm cube around here somewhere, and it's worth like $6.
Yeah, I've tried out. I got a sample of Ultem 1010 that I printed, and that was done on. I think was it the? Yeah, I think it was the Dragon, the Dragon equipped Ultimaker at school, and it still really struggled with that, let alone peak. And that's an Ultimaker, like that's a really high end product.
Yeah, but it's not meant to print peak or PEI or anything.
I know,
like
but
that.
the upgrades I've done to it, like the printing 1.75 Dragon hot end hardened steel Titan extruder, that's pretty well equipped to do the higher temp stuff. So if it's struggling with PEI, let alone peak.
Yeah. So is that filament available yet? Did you see?
It looks like it. I can add it to my cart.
Yeah,
it's released. I could buy some now if I could afford it.
I'm making a sample of it and test it out.
Yeah, if you do, let us know.
I would love to see CNC Kitchen get his hands on a spool of that.
I know he's currently doing the Prusament CFPC at the moment, so you might be able to ask him to do it once he finished that.
Yeah.
Good idea. Yeah, so it seems like a good option if like you have an all metal hot ends and then a really good bed, because 100 plus C.
Oh, wait, what print surface do they recommend for it?
It's PVA glue.
PVA glue, yeah, that would make sense. I was just wondering if you could, because I've been trying. For the F1 in Schools project, we're getting a bunch of filaments and trying them out. I was wondering if we could. We're getting the Fillamentum non-oilum stuff. I was wondering if we could maybe reach out to them and see if they want to sponsor it and get some of the PVDF and give it a go.
I'm not familiar. Is there a weight limit on those cars?
There is, which is why we're also trying out ColorFab LWPLA.
Yeah,
stuff that Stefan showed. Problem is we have to stay eco-friendly, which is why the PVDF would work, because it says recyclable, so that's great. Because the team name's Leaf1, which LEAF1.
Yeah,
that's cool. Cool. Okay.
So
yeah, so I was just gonna wrap it up quickly. So thanks for joining, everybody. This was kind of fun. I don't know, half an hour long. Just talk about some 3D printing topics. The first one. So yeah, this was awesome. Thanks everybody for listening or joining us. Hopefully we can do this again sometime. Talk about some more topics about the industry, and
I'm happy to make it a
stuff.
weekly thing, maybe.
Yeah, that's pretty fun. So cool. So again, if anybody's watching on YouTube or anything, if you want to join the next one, there'll be a link down below for our Discord. You can join live next time and ask questions like one of our members did here, which is super cool. So yeah, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you in the next one, hopefully.